Hi, this is Chelsey Stafki, and I am an account executive here at eSPACE. Today, I'd like to go over with you one of our modules, and that is the work order and asset management. So when I look at work order and asset management, I'm basically talking about four main pillars. What you're seeing right now is the admin view. The admins are the kings and queens of eSpace. You have full control to override, accept or reject orders as they come in. You also have access to these tabs here on the left. So the first pillar of work order and asset management is going to be the work orders themselves. You can receive them via text or an email. You can post QR codes throughout the building, and someone can just walk up and scan the QR code, put in some information into a form, and then that gets uploaded into eSpace. Once I, the admin, see a work order come through, for instance, the light out on the main stage in the atrium, I can come over to this green button and click Assign. That work order can be assigned to an individual user. That can be assigned to a department, for instance, custodial or facilities team, or even to an external vendor, an electrician, pest control, etc. Once that work order has been assigned, it will be completed, and the logged completion will then be housed in the eSpace platform. Let's look at a work order that's already taking place so that I can go over a few items with you. What you'll see here is what we refer to as our tool belt. So for this particular work order, there needs to be some polishing of the gym floor. So you're going to go ahead and put in as much description as you would like. Right now, this work order has been approved, requested by me. You can designate which campus and location, and you can even customize the priority with which you want this work order to take place. Any service categories needed, this could be electrical. Any equipment needed for this job. General comments, you can put as much or as little as you would like, and yet another place to go ahead and assign this work order. The spaces, all of that is simply where is this work order taking place within our facility. Any costs that are associated with this work order. That could be an invoice from a vendor, supplies that needed to be purchased, or perhaps equipment that needed to be rented. Tasks, you can designate certain tasks to certain folks. So it could be my job to pick up trash off of the gym floor before it is polished. Once I completed my task, I would hit complete. Everyone would know that job was done. Conversations are a lot like Slack, if you're familiar with that platform. So instead of having to chase someone around the building or perhaps pick up the phone and call, you can simply put your message right here in Conversations. It may sound something like, I am renting a scissor lift to change a light bulb. Everyone's in the know. Any attachments can be photos, things that you would need, such as a checklist or a user's manual, perhaps even an invoice. You can think of the attachments as your online library. And again, today I am giving you the 30,000-foot overview. So that is pillar one. Moving on to pillar two of work order and asset management. This is going to be the biggest return on investment for any facility, and that is your preventative maintenance scheduling. Anything that needs to be done with frequency, whether that is changing your HVAC filters, checking emergency lighting, checking your AED units and fire extinguishers, that can all be housed here. You can assign it to a particular person or group. You can put in the frequency with which you want this thing to take place, as well as a start date. On the start date, the system will automatically generate a new work order for that particular job to be completed. For instance, here it's time to change the air filter. What this does is prevents you from having anything falling through the cracks again. Pillar 3 of work order and asset management is going to be all about your equipment or the assets in your facility. So if I click on equipment, I come to a section here where I can put in all of the information about my equipment. But let's look at one that's already been put into the system. We're going to look at this HVAC unit, and if I click on the details, I could have the ability to barcode, where by scanning it, it immediately gets put into eSpace. This is where you're going to note things such as the model and serial number, the date that the item was put in service, any warranty information, perhaps a photo, checklist, or user's manual can all be housed here. The most important portion of this pillar is right here. This is your meat and potatoes. This is your equipment work order history. This is so imperative. If the person who is handling your facilities now, for whatever reason, decided that they needed to leave tomorrow, if they leave and all of the information is in their head, that makes it very difficult for the person coming behind them to catch up and know what is happening in your facility. Every time this HVAC unit has been worked on, it has been logged in eSpace. What's more, these green arrow check marks tell me that this is a preventative maintenance item. The red X's tell me that this was a find it, fix it. This is going to give you a really great idea of whether or not you need to start saving money to replace this item, or perhaps just setting aside capital funds for over the next year or so. It gives you a lay of the land for your equipment. Sometimes it's coming to the end of its life and we don't even realize it. Pillar 4 of work order and asset management is your inventory. This is anything that is replenishable. It could also be small ticket items throughout your facility. So for instance, this could be restroom supplies, office supplies, batteries, light bulbs, things of that nature. As an example, here we have Glade room spray. I can put a location of the item, the quantity on hand, the unit cost, and the total value. We can also set a low par level so that as you come to the end of that particular supply, you will be reminded that it is time to reorder. So no longer are we going to be running out of toilet paper, folks. One of the great things about eSpace, and this is probably one of my favorite features, is our floor plan. So if I'm looking at an example church, you can see that I have an HVAC unit on the rooftop of this worship center. If I click on that unit, I'm going to get the equipment details here on the right. I'm going to be able to see the work history, and I can even create a new work order straight from this section. The other thing that I can do is I will have the ability to add custom layers. Those are going to appear as icons and symbols in each of your rooms that you choose to have listed. For instance, I could have my fire extinguishers, my AED units, as well as my water fountains. We have a whole list of these custom layers for you to use. Something else within work order is if I click on a particular room number, I can see those work orders that are upcoming for that space, and I can even see those space properties, letting me know what color paint is on the wall, what type of flooring, and any hardware. This makes your job a lot easier when things need to be repaired in the room. I hope that you have enjoyed this sneak peek into work order and asset management. Please contact us here at eSpace. We would love to do a personal demo with you. And thank you so much. Have a great day.